Well, as most of you are already aware, Donald Trump's life has been and is in danger. In fact, over this past week, I've got some unbelievable information to share with you. I'm talking about reports of a staffer who reportedly had a gun and was just feet away from Donald J. Trump. Now, this report hasn't necessarily been confirmed, but it's coming from a very valuable source. Not only that, but right after that reportedly happened, shots were fired outside of the White House, with a man having a gun. And not only that, but jets are scrambling over Mar-a-Lago all within this past week. And I think that we really need to up our prayers for Donald Trump. And not only that, but Elon Musk as well, because I've got some life-threatening stuff to share with you about him and Tesla as well. So much going on. I am really, really concerned. But let's start first with this here. I know Justice Knight touched on it on his channel, but I haven't shared it with you guys here yet, and I think it's valuable. House staffer gained entry into one of the House office buildings that leads to the U.S. Capitol with a gun before Trump's speech to the nation. And this was just posted March 8th, but it goes on. Tarek Johnson resigned from the U.S. Capitol Police after more than 23 years of service after the events of the Capitol on January 6th. And here's what he says. This isn't a message to Chief Thomas Manager, the U.S. Capitol Police lead there, but he says, here we go again. Today, I just received the information of what occurred on Tuesday, March 4th, on the day President Trump addressed the nation from the United States Capitol. You clearly are going to try to conceal it from the public as much as you can, but you must understand it will not be possible for you to conceal anything as long as I am breathing. With that said, you have until 12 o'clock p.m. on Monday morning to fully brief the American public of what occurred on Tuesday. If you do not, I will. And in the future, you will not be offered advance notice of these reports. So what basically happens here is Tarek Johnson threatens basically Chief Thomas Manger, and he says, if you don't release it by Monday, I'm going to release it. And instead of waiting till Monday, he actually came out with the report on Saturday on X because he said, I couldn't hold back. And here's what he said. Here's the emergency update. I was going to wait until Monday for this, but things are developing rapidly, so I must inform the public now in a series of tweets. Here's what's happening. On Tuesday, SOTU, a House staffer, gained entry into one of the House office buildings that leads to the U.S. Capitol. That staffer was in possession of a gun. He was eventually caught and arrested. What makes the problem even worse, I'm told, the staffer asked what the problem was with this, and no one said anything to him about bringing the gun in the previous day. It goes on. This is the fourth instance of a gun being brought in a building policed by USCP Thomas Manger since Trump was elected president. What is frightening to me is that both dates that President Trump attended the events at the Capitol, it was on a date where a gun made it in one of the buildings. And I'm told one of the guns made it in a room where President Trump was actually in and only feet away from him. This kind of stuff cannot be happening. According to this report, there was a man with a gun just feet away from Donald J. Trump. This is terrifying if true. But I've got a lot to share with you. Just a quick break from my sponsor. What if I told you groundbreaking studies have revealed a therapy that is so powerful that it's helping people achieve things that they thought were impossible? I'm talking about things like reversing your biological age, to melting away that stubborn body fat, to even calming overactive immune responses, to regulating your thyroid, and even, get this, achieving cancer remission. It's true. In a 413-person study, patients using this therapy were 4 times more likely to achieve complete remission from prostate cancer. So what's the secret? How about a revolutionary technology that recharges your cell's mitochondria, the very powerhouse of healing. In fact, Red Light has the most advanced systems that use dual LED technology, and it delivers these healing waves, 2 of them all at once, basically giving you double the results in just 1 session. Unlike costly supplements and treatments that you have to keep on buying, well, with this, it's just a one-time purchase that you and your family can use for years. Check it out by going to myredlight.com. That's myredlight, Light.com, and check it out today. Use the coupon code Lisa to get 10% off. If you want more information, click that more button or click the link in the description box below. So how the hell can something like that happen if this is confirmed? How can somebody be 1 foot away from the president with a gun, or feet away from the president with a gun? In fact, there was a letter that was sent to the Capitol Police Chief. And here's that letter you can kind of see, but this was written by Tariff Johnson, kind of addressing that whole thing. And in this letter, here's what he writes. First, I would like to thank you for taking the time to read my letter. I know you're busy. Let's get to the point. I was informed by multiple sources, not one, multiple sources on January 20th, 2025, in the U.S. Capitol, a high-ranking U.S. Capitol Police official authorized an uninvited guest to attend Trump's swearing-in ceremony. I have been told that said guest was allowed to bypass security screening and was in possession of a handgun. If the invitation was impromptu, that would mean that the guest was not vetted in advance by either the U.S. Capitol Police or the U.S. Secret Service. To make matters worse, I have been told that this unvetted guest was spotted in multiple locations where President Trump was and only feet away from him. Interesting. And his sources tell him that the U.S. CP official involved is under investigation because of this incident and was transferred out of the Protective Service Bureau until they conclude the investigation. Wow. And he says, of course, he says, if this can be verified, if that is the case, and he's looking for questions and answers. And rightly so. This is coming from a former lieutenant U.S. Capitol Police officer. Multiple sources, right? Again, this hasn't been confirmed at this point, but either way, why don't we have some good people protecting the president? And I think there are some in there, but how the hell, if this is true, whoever the person was that let him in with the gun, they need to be immediately fired. And an investigation does need to go underway because Donald Trump is the president and we all want him alive. I don't wish death on anyone. But speaking of that, take a look at this right here. This is on the Blaze. And this is a separate event, by the way. Gunman allegedly brandishes weapon near the White House until the Secret Service intervened. Secret Service agents shot a man they saw was brandishing a weapon near the White House over the weekend, threatening to harm himself and others. Sometime on Saturday, D.C. Metropolitan Police received a report from police in North Manchester, Indiana, claiming that an armed 27-year-old man was headed to the D.C. area with perhaps bad intentions. The report indicated that the man was emotionally disturbed and may have been looking to commit suicide by cop. Secret Service then found the car belonging to the suicide individual and spotted someone who matched his description lurking near the White House. Secret Service Chief of Communications Anthony Julimin said. It goes on. Officers then tracked the man down on foot near the Eisenhower Executive Office building located about a block from the White House. Around midnight on Sunday, the situation escalated considerably when the suspect reportedly pointed a gun at himself and then at the officers. He also allegedly ignored multiple commands, then dropped the weapon, forcing Secret Service agents to take actions and discharge their weapon. Thankfully, no officers were injured in the incident, and we don't know who's involved. They haven't released that. And the suspect was wounded in the shooting and taken to a hospital for treatment. The condition at this time is unknown. But here's yet another situation of a man right near the White House with a gun. But it doesn't stop there. Here's some more stuff that is going on. And this has been going on more than one time. And this is on the Gateway Pundit. U.S. Air Force to scramble F-16s again after 2 aircraft violates airspace near Trump's Mar-a-Lago. It goes on. In what is becoming an alarming pattern, U.S. Air Force F-16s once again had to intercept a civilian aircraft for violating restricted airspace near President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence this weekend. This marks the second incursion in just 2 days. The first occurred at approximately 8:50 a.m. on Saturday when a general aviation aircraft entered the restricted space. NORAD F-16s responded promptly, escorting the aircraft out of the area without further incident. Then a second violation took place around 11:15 on Sunday, involving another civilian aircraft breaching the TFR. According to a press release from NORAD, F-16s from the continental U.S. NORAD region were deployed to intercept and escort the rogue aircraft out of the area. During the interception, the F-16 deployed flares to capture the pilot's attention before safely guiding the aircraft out of the restricted zone. Since Trump's inauguration, his presidential inauguration on January 20th, there have been over 20 such airspace violations in the Palm Beach area. General Gregory Goliath, commander of NORAD and U.S. Northern Command. 20. That's an awful lot of numbers. And here is the actual release from NORAD. We have here from the North American Aerospace Defense Command. There. So it's all confirmed as far as these things happening. And if you're telling me 20 since he became president, Lucy, we have a problem. Why aren't they handling this? That's an awful lot. There's a lot of bad things that could potentially happen. And I'm not saying they're all intrusions in a bad way or not. Maybe I'm sure there's some mistakes there, obviously. But we're talking about 20 since his presidency and 2 just in the last couple of days. Why can't they get a handle on it, right? Speaking of, there are some major anti-Elon Musk protests that are happening, and vandalism has been happening at these events. Here's this, and this is also on the Gateway Pundit, but anti-Musk liberal protest are arrested for mobbing Tesla's showroom in New York. And here's what it says. Hundreds of protesters descended upon a Tesla dealership in Manhattan on Saturday, shattering the front doors before occupying the showroom. At least 6 of them were arrested by the NYPD 6. But that's not the only time. Another protest at the same location on March 1st resulted in 9 arrests. 9 arrests. So there have been multiple protests that have been happening in different areas. In fact, regarding some of these protests, Elon Musk believes that these protesters are being funded, right? Take a look what Elon Musk had to say just to show you that. And this was posted on his X account March 8th. An investigation has found 5 Act Blue funded groups responsible for Tesla protest troublemakers, Disruption Project, Rise and Resist, Invisible Project, and Democrat Socialist of America, your George Soros groups there. Act Blue funders include George Soros, Reid Hoffman, Herbert Sandler, Patricia Bowman, Leah Hunt Hendricks. It goes on. Act Blue is currently under investigation for allowing foreign and illegal donations in criminal violation of campaign finance regulations. This week, 7 Act Blue senior officials, I'm adding the word coincidentally, resigned, including the Associate General Counsel. If you know anything about this, please post in the replies. As you know, in the past, and I'm not going to get into all the details, but James O'Keefe went through and he asked a bunch of Democrats about their Act Blue donations and did you donate said amount? And a lot of them were like, no, we never donated that. I don't have that much money in my bank account. I would never donate that much. And so there's all this criminal activity that is happening with this organization. And there is video footage, by the way, of a protester admitting that he's been paid. I did not pull that up in this broadcast today, but there is video of that. And so this is something that definitely needs to be under investigation because organizations like this one, and this is the one that is planning the protest or advertising for the protest, Planet Over Profit. So this is one of them that are talking about occupying and blockading Tesla showrooms and how this is what we need to do to stop corruption, stop fascism, and the whole 9 yards, which is just a bunch of BS. But there are rumors that they are being funded and potentially linked to Act Blue, like I said. And this is something that Elon Musk is investigating, right? And rightfully so. Anyhow, please keep all of them in your prayers. Obviously, there is a lot of things happening, but anyhow, I love you all. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.